Jesus says he has not come to bring peace, but a sword. He says not to fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Jesus says, even the hairs on your head are all counted by God. In the reading from Matthew today, Jesus was preparing his disciples for the fierce opposition they would encounter. I mean, if they called Jesus Beelzebul, the devil himself, then they can't think very highly of his followers. When Jesus talks of taking up the cross, it doesn't appear to be a reference to Jesus' own crucifixion, which occurs chronologically later. This doesn't appear to be foreshadowing or someone writing in a hint of Jesus' own ending in the middle of the story. It appears that Jesus is speaking metaphorically, urging all of his followers to be as ardent revolutionaries as those whom the Romans were making an example of by crucifying them throughout Israel. Jesus is urging his disciples to be that passionate, to be that committed, as ready to face a violent resistance as those who were trying to toss the Romans out of Israel. But we don't face that as Christians. We face indifference. We face I'm spiritual, but not really religious. We face, I want my kids to be able to make their own decision about religion when they're older. We'd love to tell them in the light of what Jesus told us in the dark and proclaim from the rooftops what we heard whispered, as it said in Matthew. It's just that we don't have anyone to listen to us. We have important good news to tell. Yes, we have fears, but we don't fear death. We are in awe of the one who made it possible to live courageously in the face of death. We fear betraying Jesus by denying him. Denying him means denying the one who makes it possible for us to confess our sins, our limitations and shortcoming that draw us away from the path he showed us. Our faith has taught us to recognize the facades of human power, even those rooted in the threat of death. We can share our conviction that God is present in this crazy, broken world, present in mercy and compassion. We just can't find anyone to talk to. You know who else fought indifference? Every parent ever. Now, I don't know the talk that parents give their Black children, particularly their Black sons. I know there are a lot of variations of that talk, depending on the kid's age. I know that Black parents and children have the talk more than once. I do know the talk that white middle-class teenage girls get about not getting pregnant. I know the talk white girls get about how you should be treated if someone really loves you and it doesn't involve a fist. And I know that every parent was met with a teenager's indifference or seeming indifference. So for every dad on this Father's Day, every parent who has shared really good insights with their kids, every bit of advice you offered on standing up straight and saving for a rainy day and changing the oil and staying in school and saying yes sir and no ma'am and making sure that the cops can see your hands on the steering wheel. For all those parents who face the indifference of their teenage kids, who knew everything already, notice this. As George Floyd lay dying on that street in Minneapolis under Derek Chauvin's knee, he cried out twice for his mama. All those indifferent teenagers that we talked to, all those indifferent teenagers that we were, we did hear the talk. And we knew that whatever the content of the talk, it meant we were loved. Just by engaging with indifference, we show love. Whether it is our teenagers or the non-religious folks around us, engaging with indifference, even when it seems to make no difference, changes both parties engaged in the talk. Even as we are losing our life, we call out for the people and for the God who spoke to us in love. Amen.